Hey everybody, welcome to PDQ Live. Today we're talking about imaging. I guess I'm Jordan.
I'm Tara.
That's Tara. We did it. So today we're talking imaging, and I'm set dressing. You teach us, I'll stand here.
You're set dressing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
You know what? One thing we do need to do first, though, is we are starting something called Package Wednesday. So this past Tuesday was what? It was Patch Tuesday. Our packaging department is going to be putting out new packages that next day. Now, remember last week when we voted on a lot of different things? Well, your votes have been heard. Let me put this up on the big screen there. And we have created some new packages. In fact, we locked Chad in his little office.
Poor Chad.
His dungeon. And look what he did here. These are new packages that you'll be able to find in the package library. We went ahead and we took care of a lot of this .NET framework, 4.8, 4.8.1. I mean, it's been a lot of work, but Chad, well done. There's also some new uninstall packages. And go to that next slide, Brock. And packages that you may have missed. These are pretty cool. We got VMware tools, sysinternals, Bitwarden, VirtualBox, Tableau Reader, Firefox in German and French. Je ne parle pas français. And Power Toys. I know, Brock, you like Power Toys.
Always.
And finally, OpenShot. So there you go. A lot of really cool stuff. And you can expect an update like this, the webcast after Patch Tuesday, and these will likely be in the package library ready for you on the Wednesday after Patch Tuesday.
Yeah. So in the chat, Tim said, hopefully it's not Package Wednesday for other things. No, Patch Tuesday is still when we do all of the things that come in that day, or in the case of Chromium, when it comes like a week earlier, often. As those come out, we patch those if they're already in the library. Package Wednesday is when we're adding new things.
Yep, absolutely. So thanks to our packaging team. Those guys were on it.
All right.
Well done.
Poor
now
Chad.
Now I'm set dressing.
So wait, that last week wasn't just for us to goof around. They actually listened to the customers and they did stuff. What the crap?
I know. We listened to your input
I think
and
it's
acted
dangerous
accordingly.
to give voice to the people. But
I know, really. There's gonna be more of that. I can feel it already. Okay. All right. We're gonna talk about.
Teach me stuff.
All right, this is another Kelly makes me listen to customers. Ugh, I hate that. But they sent us some notes from SmartDeploy customers on some comparisons they wanted us to do with SmartDeploy and other suites that are similar, right? So it's a little difficult to do apples to apples when it comes to imaging, but we're going to do our best. Okay. The first thing we're going to do, though, is we're going to do a little imaging off, a race, if you will. And we have Jeff from SmartDeploy. He's behind this screen somewhere.
Right
Hi,
there.
Jeff.
There he is.
There's
There's
Jeff. Hi.
Hello.
We're going to start this first because it takes a while. I'm going to go into the details in just a minute, and I'm going to explain something. This machine that you see right here is Azure joined and autopilot joined. I forgot that word. And I wish I could show you a console-initiated deployment, but I cannot for various reasons. But if Kelly can show the screen for me just really quick. This computer, this one right here.
That one.
That's
Gotcha.
right, yeah.
Gotcha.
You did it. There's
This
too many computers now.
There's too many computers. We have so much going on. So I started to do a reset. Actually, I started a restart on 11.14. And you see it's pending still. And then I started a reset on the 9th. It tried to do it for 4 days and then it failed. So it's a teeny bit glitchy is what I'm going to say. That's going to be my generous way to do it. So yesterday during the dry run, we actually reset it on the local machine and now it's called something different. So just know that now. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to do it from the regular machine. So we're going to hop over here. This is the company portal. So it's the app that you're going to download. So you're going to see this right here. And we're just going to come here. And I actually found out this morning I could be doing this in a much better way.
And Jeff, I'm going to have you disable your camera there.
I could be doing this in a much better way had I spoken to Jordan 2 days ago, but I didn't. So before you come at me with the comments, yes, there's a PowerShell script that you could do this, but I didn't do that because I was obsessing about something else this week. So yes, you can do this in the console. Okay, so my choices are keep my files or remove everything. I'm going to remove everything, and then it's going to prompt me and say, do you want to do a cloud one or do you want to do a local reinstall? And here's the catch. This is going to reinstall the OS that the machine shipped with. So it's a little bit of a limitation, but we're going to do a local reinstall, remove apps and files, reinstall Windows from this device. So just what I just said. So we're going to hit next, and then we're going to write down what this says. And it tells you what it'll do, reset. And what time is it? It's 9:05.
So
okay.
While you're doing that, I, for one, am stunned that there's a PowerShell option to make this easier.
I know. I literally saw it this morning, and I told Jordan, I'm like, gosh, dang it. Okay, so now we're going to cue to Jeff, and Jeff is going to do one from SmartDeploy. And again, I'm going to restate this. This is not an apples to apples, so this is not really a true imaging. Okay, Jeff, go.
Yep. So I'm just going to come in here, select my machine. I got my virtual machine back here. I'm going to select that image, local deployment. I'm going to select my Windows 11 image. Next, finish. And then I'm all set. So this machine here in a little bit will reset and begin reimaging.
Okay, so he's going to do, what did we do, 9:06.
Has the race begun?
Yeah.
Okay. Brock, let's have you slide those two so we can get them side by side and see how we go. All right. There you go.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about Intune for just a bit, okay? So, and I'm going to say this like 400 times because I just know someone's going to pipe up and go, it's not true. It's not a true comparison. It's not a true comparison. So Intune is a ginormous beast. It is. This is the old machine. When I reimaged it yesterday, it renamed it weirdly to a different name. This is the exact same machine. So this morning at 8:30, I triggered a restart. That restart's still pending. So it's not fast. So anyone that uses Intune will probably tell you it's a little bit glitchy. It's not at all fast.
So it sounds like Intune's along the same vein as you got with like group policy or SCCM, where
Yes.
you queue up the work to be done and it does it at its own time.
Exactly. Yeah, you go get some coffee and lunch and maybe dinner, and then it will do it.
Is there a way to force it? I imagine there is a way to say, make this one a priority.
If I hit sync and then wait 5 minutes, the restart will go.
Okay.
So I did a lot of testing, and yes, Jordan's correct. That will do that. So Azure is the backbone, then Intune, and then Autopilot, and then whatever they're going to rename it next week. So it's huge. You need to have a lot of time to learn it. That's what I'm going to say. And probably a dedicated person to learn all of it. And it's not really a true imaging solution. I can't push out a Windows 11 solution from Intune. You just can't. It's going to come with whatever the hardware came with. So I can't really compare the two.
You say you can't with that one, but that's with that particular device. If when you bought it, it was Windows 11, then you
Yes.
could. Okay.
Yeah, I could. So in theory,
It's not that it can't do Windows 11, it's that it is locked to whatever operating system you send it
that's
with.
correct.
Okay.
So these are my options that I have right here. If I come up here and hit Autopilot Reset, it will reset the computer to factory defaults or whatever OS it came with. That's exactly what you just said it perfectly. These are the options that I can take. So we talked about this before. I could make configs, compliance, and these are all over here. So if I wanted to push out applications to this device, I could easily. One of the great things is, and I think the reason people love Intune is you can sign in as a 365 user and it will create your profile right there and join it to Azure. So I can join a user with a user. I can join, you can set it. You can actually set it up to 200 devices, but that would be stupid. You log in as a work account and then it does its business. It's just restarting, but it's got a lot more to do. So don't get excited.
I'm just, the flashy lights that pull
You're
me
like,
in.
ooh, pretty lights. So it's a huge suite. It can do a lot of stuff, but like I said, very time consuming. So I know I covered a lot, but that's
I
Intune.
know I'm suggesting, but can I counterpoint that?
Yes, please do.
Graph is amazing. And if you take the time, Graph is a PowerShell module, MS Graph.
Yeah.
And if you take the time to dial that in, that can do a lot, but you also can have the things that you do often in core automated or done at a push of a button. It just it would take some work.
Yeah, and you can, using PowerShell, you can upload all of your hardware and use the unique hardware identifiers to mass upload all of your hardware into Intune. It makes it a lot easier. And then you can manage them accordingly. So we're trying to be really fair with our comparison. So it does a lot of cool things.
Yeah, so I got some of the quote graph is amazing. It is robust and complex, and not everything works at its ideal form, but everything that it can do is amazing.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move on from Intune, but just know it does a lot. It's not particularly intuitive and or easy is what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Okay, so next we're going to move on to MDT. So MDT is dying a slow, painful death right now. Microsoft is phasing it out. It's no longer officially supported. The 32-bit version is gone. They flat out don't support it. Whether or not they support the other one is kind of up in the air. And it's going away for several reasons, mostly because Windows 11 forces some security protocols that Windows 10 was like, nah, it's fine. We know it's best practices, but we don't really care. But Windows 11 is like, no, you have to have it. So TPM 2.0 and Secure Boot are the two things we're talking about.
So an MDT won't run if those are enabled?
No.
Okay.
There's some workarounds that I found people can get across, but that's essentially the gist of it. And then the other one is VB Script. When VB Script was deprecated or just done away with, I don't know the right terminology, but
Let's just go with super old.
Super old, MDT became obsolete. So
I think there's like some surprisingly large percentage of MDT was written in VB Script.
yeah,
So.
yeah.
Right.
So Microsoft is really, in my opinion, it's planned obsolescence because they're moving to their new ginormous beast, which is called Microsoft Endpoint Manager, which is a whole big consortium of SCCM and Intune all together. That's where they're really pushing people. They want people to use Autopilot as an imaging, but it's not really a true imaging because you can't say push Windows 11 to this device. It's whatever the device comes with. And maybe they're going to move toward that.
I'd say that's business dependent. Like if you have a standard, this is the hardware set that we have, and this is what's on it. Then Intune is perfect for that because you're keeping. It's a similar. It's almost like I don't want to say desired state because there's a lot more that goes into it, but you're basically ensuring your environment has the same parameters across the board, which there is value in that.
True. And yeah, you can do all the policies. You can compliance policies, config policies. You can do all that in Intune. Absolutely true. Okay, so we talked about Intune. We talked about MDT. Let's go to Jeff to tell us about why SmartDeploy is a better imaging solution. Because it really just is, actually. Jeff, are you ready?
I am ready.
Okay, let's go. Is your image done?
So it is chugging along here. It says about a minute 41 left on applying the image. And yeah. So the nice thing about SmartDeploy and the way that it works is we really wanted to make it simple, simplify the process a lot. So, we do this by building a reference machine. And when we're talking about Windows 11, the reference machine, we do have to set the TPM and the requirements, the encryptions, 4 gigs RAM, yada, yada, all that good stuff. But once we set that in the reference machine and get that reference machine looking the way that we want, install Windows, do the updates, install any applications, anything that we want in there, we'll capture that image, and then we can push that image to any machine. SmartDeploy was going to bypass any of those requirements. So if something's not set right, or if, there's kind of just weird finicky things, we're not going to run into any errors applying that image to that machine. So that's one nice thing. The other nice thing is that we use these platform packs, and these are going to be all of our drivers. And these work. So we have about 1,700 to 1,800 different platform packs. You'll notice that some of them say Windows 11, some of them say Windows 10, but the Windows 10 ones will also work with Windows 11 as well. So we'll bypass all those requirements. All of our driver packages are already supported for Windows 11, Windows 10. We're all set there. We did just run some updates for our PE environment to deal with the security vulnerabilities with Secure Boot and things like that. So any machine that have received those updates, you're not going to have any trouble there. Also, the nice thing, too, is with our latest update, any machine that has not received that security update, that should be enforced the start of next year, I believe. SmartDeploy will also work with those machines. So we work with any machine. You don't need to change any of the deployment type. You don't need to change any settings or anything like that. Just build, have our driver packages. You can have as many as you want. So you can have, all your Lenovo's and Dell's and things like that. Those are all going to be in there. Once it hits it, it's going to scan the machine and just start applying the image there.
So Jeff, you did away with VB scripting a while ago, yeah?
Yep, we used it. So yeah, that is going away. We did use it for one process, which was gathering kind of system information, I believe. But yeah, we've done away with that. That wasn't a main part of ours. So VB scripting is out.
Okay.
So I do have a question on this, on the TPM specifically, because that is one where they highly recommend it with Windows 11. But if it's not there, basically you just get a message that said, don't do it, bro, but they'll allow it. So if you have hardware that can't use TPM 2.0, could you still push a Windows 11 image in that case from SmartDeploy, or do they take a harder line stance saying it requires it?
Oh, you can push it out through SmartDeploy. I mean, we recommend it definitely, but it's going to push out regardless. So this virtual machine doesn't have it on, so.
All right.
Okay, and so Jeff, one of the things I really like about SmartDeploy versus this is SmartDeploy really and truly is zero touch. You don't need to touch it at all. You can put all this stuff in the answer file and not have to do anything.
Yep. We can set the name. We can set it joining the domain. We can push out different applications. So if you have scripts that set things like that, or enabling BitLocker, we can do a lot of different stuff. So we try to automate just as much as possible. Once it's all set and I have my deployment and I came in here like I did send the image there, anything set in the answer file, anything that was set in that golden image is going to be applied by just 2 clicks from my console. I can also select multiple machines. So for example, if I work for a school, I need to reset a computer lab, I can have a dynamic group for all my machines in that lab. I can just Control A or select different machines, push out to all of them, select if or I want to do multicasts or whatever. It's going to just image all those without me having to go to each individual machine and setting it the way that I want.
And I can schedule that deployment like at midnight if I want to?
You sure can. Yep.
Join the domain?
I can join the domain. Yep.
Okay. What about Azure? What kind of interaction with Azure do we have?
I was just about to say that. We can do local domains. We can join Azure. We can prompt it for an email, join a work group, whatever you need to do.
And
we can also even join the domain post-imaging through the console.
I don't like to do this, but I'm going to ask anyway because I have to. Saving user data?
We can. Yep. So there's a couple of ways that we can do that. In the answer file, you can have it just pull the user data into a migration file, save it to a specific location, and then push it afterwards. Or if, say, you are moving from a different machine, so let's say VM1 is going to move over to VM2, I can select VM1, I can capture that user state, image my VM, my second one here, and deploy, select it from my list. It saves to my network drive or my local machine, whatever I need to, so I can push it out later. So it's great for migrating machines. It's great for just resetting machines. We can do as much as possible.
I love that. Actually, you know when I would use that, honestly? Is for someone who's like, I forgot my computer at home, and oh my gosh, I need everything on there. No, I need everything. It's on my desktop. That's when I would use that. Seriously, that's when I would use it.
Well, everyone needs their desktop icons. They're critical.
They do. You're joking, but they totally do. Okay, now what about cloud deployments? Because I love this. I absolutely love this. Where can we deploy from?
So we have a couple of different options. And the nice thing about SmartDeploy is when we create our reference machine, create our platform packs and application packs, it can be utilized locally or can be used during the cloud. The way that our cloud works is our client checks in, looks, connects to an Azure broker service, which fosters the communication. Then you would sign into one of our Dropbox, Google Drive, OneDrive, Box, any of these. It's going to authenticate. That's going to create a refresh token, so no credentials are being passed back and forth in plain text. We would upload our images, upload our platform packs, upload everything we need to the cloud. Then when I build my answer file, I'll just select a cloud deployment. So I'll select where I'm going to pull it from. I'll select my cloud provider. I'll sign in, I'll select my image, I'll build my answer file, and then that can be used in USB deployments. It can be used during the console. It can be used in any form of media that I could do locally. So if I want to store everything on the cloud, I have that option.
So now, just to be fair, because we're doing a fair comparison, SmartDeploy does have application packs, right? They do. So
Yes.
in the answer file, you could choose your OS. You could do Windows 10, you could do Windows 11, and you could actually put the applications inside the answer file that you wanted. You could then say, we're going to send a laptop home with Jordan, and he's going to sign in, and then it's going to image the computer at his house because we've chosen our cloud provider, right? But let's just say Jordan's super picky and he wants a whole bunch of different applications. And if we wanted to, we could use Intune as well as a companion product because we need to push out a bunch of other, say we have a company app that for whatever reason SmartDeploy doesn't support. We could then actually push it out with Intune as well. So you could use them together.
I don't love Intune for that. Because Intune behaves more like group policy than anything else. So if you're looking to set overall policies that you want all your computers to behave within, Intune is great for that. For application installs, I would use something else. To me, using Intune to do application installs is no different than using group policy to install applications.
Well, you could.
You can do it. Not the best method.
Well, we do have a couple of questions. You guys ready to take?
Yes, but I think his is done.
Oh, is it
Kelly.
done?
So what
Hang
time
on.
are we done? Let's look at the clock.
Yeah.
10:21.
More important questions. There's a lot, and there's some good ones.
So I'm really at 91%, but that's a big liar pants on fire because it's got to run updates. So I'm just going to mark it down. 10:21.
10:21, and the other is still going.
So 15 minutes is how long it took for SmartDeploy.
But for real questions, though.
That's impressive. All right.
All right, our very first one. Is there a platform pack of common NIC drivers that can be added to the WDS boot media? JB Cummings.
Boy, is there. Jeff, take it away.
That's why Jeff's
Yeah,
here.
that's a really good question. So there is one for wireless. We do have one. If not, the platform pack for the machine that you're deploying to would also have those. So we have one pre-built for like wireless NIC drivers and things like that. If not the other ones. And the nice thing too is those platform packs will load any PE drivers, so we can have as many of those as we want.
So to be clear, the ones for the pre-built, if you have the platform packs already built out for certain form factors of the hardware, that will contain all the drivers for that specific version. But if it's third party or out of market NIC, then that's one where you probably have it in a different grouping, but not necessarily guaranteed.
And we can edit and we can change these platform packs too. So we have one like wireless that has all those kind of different, third party and generic ones too. But any one that's just really out there, we'll just have to add it. But it's an easy process.
I think that question came from the person who was just now setting up SmartDeploy. Am I wrong?
He said he was trying it out.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, it does have the platform pack for your specific machine.
Next question.
All right. Can SmartDeploy image a machine off the domain, such as at a third-party site, and join the domain when it arrives at the office? Jason Clark.
Yep. But go ahead, Jeff.
Yep. So in that case, you would image it off-site. Obviously, we couldn't automate it because it's not connected to the network. But once it is there and connects through VPN or comes into here, we can use the SmartDeploy console to join the domain that way.
Okay.
Ready for the next one?
Let's do it.
For domain joining via SmartDeploy, does it encrypt the credentials used for performing the domain join? Timothy McCabe.
Tim and his security questions. All right, let's see.
It does, yes. Those are encrypted.
Done.
That was a
go.
test.
Oh, that was
that was
easy.
a test from Tim.
Ah.
All right, we got one or two more.
All right.
If you are imaging a remote computer, what happens if there is a network interruption during the imaging? WTIT.
Oh, yeah. What happens, Jeff? I don't know.
So it will try to go as much. So with a cloud deployment or network deployment, it downloads as much as it can to start applying. So cloud deployment will split it up. If there's kind of just a hiccup in the network, it's not going to stop immediately or anything like that. But, kind of depends on how long the outage is, obviously. But it doesn't, if there's just like a little loss in connection or loss in connection for a few minutes, it's not going to just completely stop.
So SmartDeploy has an agent, so I imagine it has some sort of keep alive for that scenario, but there's no specific detail for how long it could keep it alive, I guess.
That's a good question. I should probably find out.
Is there another one?
Yeah, we got one more if you're ready for it. Is there any way to set the cloud deployment for OneDrive storage to a generic shared point OneDrive instead of a specific user's personal OneDrive? Just Rob.
That's
it
definitely
asks
going to
you.
be Jeff.
Well, it asks you to set your credentials, so I would imagine yes. But Jeff, go ahead.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be like your specific, user. You can use whatever. When you click to log in, it brings up a web page, and then you put in whatever the login for that would be, and then connect that one. So it doesn't have to be a specific user or the one that's like tied to the machine or anything like that.
Okay, so in fairness, I'm now at the login screen. So what time is it? 10:26. But you see, everyone's familiar with this. Now I have to go to all those annoying steps of walking through this setup. So this really bugs me.
Yeah, you still have to set this up.
Yeah, you still have to set it up. So I freaking hate this. Anyway, I won't do it. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of steps left. So it's not really done. But
Oh, no.
keep talking.
I want to add a second keyboard layout.
Okay, yeah.
I'm kidding.
Let's do.
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's go on. There's a question that didn't come into the question about how to recommend to get started with Graph, and I'm going to take that one because I have a microphone in front of me and I could decide to. If you are familiar with PowerShell, then MS Graph is a PowerShell module. So at that point, you just want to spend some time learning how to use that module to authenticate to your Azure or your Intra. That's the first part to learn with that one. If you're not familiar with PowerShell, the first thing you want to do is learn PowerShell because a lot of the basics are going to go in there. And the most common book for that is PowerShell in a Month of Lunches, but there's a lot of good information. PowerShell.org can help your learning journey a lot. So yeah, I guess there it is. If you know PowerShell, dive into the authentication part, and from there you can do a lot without it. Just learn PowerShell first.
I want to talk about this really quickly because this screen right here, since this is Azure joined, now it's asking for a user, right? If I log into this, it's going to assign the machine to me. So I also don't love this because if I was going to assign this to a user, I don't know the user's password. So my choices are either to go in to 365 and reset their password or log in myself, which I hate because that bothers me. Because then I either have to go into work account and unassign that person, then reassign it them as at the time of deployment. So this is another thumbs down for me. But I'm going to do this. Continue.
Type. Do we have any other questions, Brock?
We do. Give me 1 second.
Yep.
No time.
Oh.
All right, so while we have typing and copying and pasting, it's my time to shine.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk sports.
All right.
All right. We're ready for a question.
So using deploy, it can load the user's data to ? What about local and network printers? Can deploy add these as well? Sharpshooter of KY, Kentucky?
Could be.
Sounds like a
Yeah.
joke.
So, yep. So it kind of just depends if we can set it up in the reference machine, or if it's like universal driver, printer drivers, something like that, we can install in the reference machine. If it has like an application to install, we can definitely put that. We can automate that with an application pack, or we can do a script that will set things up. If we have a script to do that, we can push that out. Or if they're just printer drivers that we want to add to the platform pack, we can also add them to either just kind of a generic platform pack or to a specific machine platform pack to just add those drivers.
Now I'm annoyed because I have MFA to contend with. 1 sec.
Do we have another question come in?
We do. This one.
He's just about ready.
All right, so we had a comment come in, having users have to do anything is a deal breaker. I think that's a fair assessment. Even if you have 95 out of 100 end users that crush it,
I know.
the 5 is a big deal.
All right. Another question.
Does SmartDeploy work in offline standalone network situations? Christopher Johnson.
It does. Yep. Yeah, it's kind of a special thing, but it can work in those environments.
We're still not done. I'm just pointing this out.
I was going to say, so where are you at,
For
Sarah?
my 95 out of 100,
let's
I'd
take a
kill
look
for 1
here.
out of 2.
No, and I just want to be 100% transparent. I love 365, don't I?
Oh, yeah.
It's my happy place. And this has been so annoying to figure out everything about this.
But they're getting everything ready for you right now.
Lies.
It may take several more
All
minutes.
lies.
And so, Jeff, how long did SmartDeploy take? What did we figure?
15 minutes.
15 minutes.
15 minutes.
Oh, now I have biometrics. Yay!
The SmartDeploy didn't give you a smiley face, so you're missing the feel-good aspect.
We lost.
Jeff is the feel good.
So I will say, for a
now
lot
a
of
pin.
this,
Now a pin.
and SmartDeploy is awesome about all this, but our approach has been more of an apples to apples. Not like the things that you can do with the way you're doing it has a lot of variation when you build it out the perfect way instead of just a one-off. So this right here is a one-off. It is more complex than it is normal. I feel like we've been unfairly harsh.
Okay, we're done now, though.
Okay.
It's 10, what time is it? 10:31. Okay, so it took 26 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, okay, and here's actually a really funny thing, because you know me. I was watching a bunch of videos to try to get a fair comparison, and you know what pops up? A video of me from last year comparing Intune to SmartDeploy.
Yeah, so it ultimately comes down to, I mean, there's lots of things, but every environment is unique. And if you're looking for like a rapid response where you have far more control for the instant, SmartDeploy is absolutely fantastic. Not a lot that I can think of that compete with it. Intune is for, in my opinion, mass amounts of where you have similar hardware sets and everything is uniform. That kind of control, which is not common, is great for that.
It's a management solution. Yeah, I agree.
All right. That wraps it up.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for tuning in. It was fun to see these comparisons. It's nice that everyone out there in these fantasy computers now have an up-to-date computer ready to go. For PDQ, I'm Jordan.
I'm Tara.
Thanks for joining our webcast today. If you like what you've seen, well, you can always like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please leave us your comments. We love that. We'll also have some additional information in the description of YouTube if you'd like more information on what Jeff showed us with SmartDeploy. Have a fantastic week, and we'll see you back here another time. We will be off next week for Thanksgiving here in the United States. Have a great holiday.